Hey guys, Crypto Jarhead here with a beta testing update for Teris. I would like to thank everybody who has helped us out so far. I'm going to need to ask you to do it again. Do it all over again. No way, get back, try again. So, we did run into a few issues. As a few of you guys were quick to point out, once we got up to a few hundred transactions, the gas used per transaction became quite a bit. And people were running out of gas. They had to increase up their gas limit to 400,000 or 500,000 limit for them to go through, and that's just unacceptable. Because I sure as hell don't want to pay that much gas, and I know you don't either. So we did fix that. That was an error on our end. We cannot control the price that you have to pay for the network, the GUI price, right? So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about here, just in case you guys haven't figured this out. I play a lot of DApp games and all this, that, and the other. I do a lot on the Ethereum network. So for me, this is second nature, but it may not be true for everybody. So what we've done is we've actually modified the contract and redeployed it. It is still the same website. If it'll load, still the same website, still the same UI, just a different little background contract. And we did that because we did make a couple of other administrative changes to the contract, which I'll get into in a second. But so right now we're going to click the buy-in button. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So you come in here. Again, if it'll load. All right, so this screen right here, a lot of us are familiar with this. There's a difference between the gas limit and the gas price. So the gas limit is how much gas you will use, right? How much is the max that you're saying that you can use? And the gas price is how much you are willing to pay per unit of gas that is used. So we can control this top one, the gas limit, right? And it was an error on our part, which is why we beta test. This is why we do this. Because the last thing we would want is to launch the live contract with this issue, because this is kind of a big one for me. So we did stabilize it. Previously, the previous code, whenever you did this, it would basically check every other transaction that had gone in previously, whereas now it's just going to track your personal transactions. So if you personally go through Teris 300 or 400 times, you might need to start upping your gas limit a little bit. But other than that, it should be good. However, we're going to try and get another few hundred transactions in, 300 or 400 transactions in, to double check that, which again is why we beta test. Now, one thing we don't have any control over, and will never have any control over, is the GUI price, the gas price. That's up to the network, guys. I wish I could control it. I wish I could change it. I can't. You can't. Unless you're like some kind of super whale or part of Team Just and, capable of creating mass traffic on the Ethereum network. There's really not much that you or I can do about this. It is what it is. Depends on how many people are using Ethereum at the time. So anyway, that's that. That's the main issue that we found on our end. And then we did add a couple of quality of life things. I'm just going to submit that real quick. I'm pretty sure this one's already in there, so that probably won't go through, but, hey, whatever. This one. Had to go look at those contract addresses. So we did, with the new and improved code, we do have a couple of quality of life stuff, and this is mainly for me as the admin. But, figured I'd go ahead and let you guys know what we have done regarding the results of the beta test. There we go. All right. So these are all the different functions that we have. Okay. This is everything that we can do. And we added this this right here, we added the ability to change the max transactions. The previous code, it was set to 640 transactions will lock, period, for all time. But we got to thinking, we're like, okay, so what happens in round 20 when everyone, people are playing this, people know this, people love this, they're trying to get in, but there's only 640 slots available, but there's 1,000 people wanting to get in. What do we do then? Is it just kind of good luck kind of a thing, And then we were like, well, what if we could change it, to once we were at that point, to allow more people the opportunity to get in, and the way it was before, the only way we could have done that was to deploy a new contract, which of course we could have done that later, snuck it in on the back end, kept the same website, kept everything like that. No one would have been the wiser, but I just didn't feel that was the right thing to do. So we added the ability for us to change this transaction count and keep the same contract. Just that way you can still go back and you can look at the very first transaction, the very first few transactions, even if there are 15, 20,000 transactions in this contract, which I know, lofty goal, but hey, it's good to have goals, guys. And then we added a blacklist. Okay, so for example, if we see an address that is bending the rules, shall we say, and is getting away with it, we do have the ability to blacklist people. We don't really want to, that's not our intention, but we thought it would be good to add that option if we needed it. Hopefully we don't, but it's good to have in case we do. And I believe all these other functions were previously available functions from the last one. But we have tested all of those functions, and they do all work. And the cool thing about having the adjustable max transaction count is before I even made this video, me and the team went and locked the contract actually a few times because we set it down to like 10 and 20, just real quick. Lock it. All right, pay everyone, unlock it, lock it again. Okay, let's try this new number, blah, 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 all this stuff. But now the big focus is going to be making sure and double checking that the gas amount used does not grow exponentially with the amount of transactions in. Now, once again, it is still going to track your personal transactions through Teris. So, if you somehow go through on your own 200 or 300 times, you might need to start upping your gas limit. If you have gone through that many times, congratulations, because you've made a lot of fucking Ethereum, and I probably wouldn't mind paying an extra 50 cents in gas or whatever that ends up actually being. But we figure that's a small risk to take, and if you have gone through that many times, you might not mind upping your gas limit a little bit. Again, that's independent of the gas price. Can't control that. But this should fix the issue so people are not running out of gas after using 300,000 units of gas. That's a lot of gas. So we do need your help. One more time, let's get this thing back up. I think it was at like 480 transactions before we called it and deployed the new contract. I would love to see 640 transactions this weekend. But if we get back up to, people started running into this around transaction 350 or so, 300, 350 is, I think, when it was brought to my attention. So let's at least get it up into the 400s and just see what happens, and if you're helping us beta test this after a successful transaction, once it starts getting up there, to 200 or 300, even if it does successfully go through, it could help if you go look at the transaction. And I'll show you how to do this real quick. This is a transaction information, right? So when you click on the transaction that went through and you get looking at to see what happened, this one was successful, you can see. And this was an admin function, so it wasn't a buy-in. But you can see right here, gas used by transaction. If this starts getting up to like 250, 300,000 units, something like that, let us know too, you know, so it's not like it won't be obvious. You will have to click on it and check it, you know, which is something I'll be doing too once we get a couple hundred transactions in. I'll start looking at that. But that would be helpful to know if it starts increasing a lot, so we can see if we still need to make any tweaks. However, we have decided on a launch time. I will go ahead and make the official launch in a separate video. It may not be tonight, it may be tomorrow morning. But we do have a launch date picked out after the results of these testing and the subsequent tweaks that we made. So we're getting very, very, very close, guys. I'm very, very excited. You know, I think it's going to be a really good time, an opportunity for people to make some money, and also, most importantly, finally a way to free the Ethereum from the gears. So that I cannot wait to pay the last person from gears. That's going to be such a great moment. You know, very, very excited for that. So that's all I've got for this video. I should probably try and do some yard work while I still have daylight. I don't spend the whole day on Teris. But anyway, thanks for bearing with me. Kind of a little bit more technical than I like to get in my videos. But, you know, hey, this is what a beta test is all about. It is what it is, guys. And thank you once again to everyone who has helped us. It's been a huge, enormous help. So I'm going to ask you to help us out for just another couple days, and then we can launch this thing. We can get this thing live, and we can get this going for real and get really excited about it. So with that, Jarhead out.